Welcome back, American coin hunter. The 1983 United States 1-cent coin is one of those Lincoln cents that many collectors overlook at first glance because millions were produced for everyday circulation, yet experienced numismatists know that this particular year deserves much closer attention. While most examples are worth only their face value, after decades of circulation, certain rare mint errors and exceptional varieties have transformed ordinary-looking pennies into coins that collectors actively search for. If you have ever come across a 1983 Lincoln cent in your pocket change, an old coin jar, or a family collection, it may be worth examining carefully before spending it. Although stories often circulate online claiming that these pennies are worth millions of dollars, the reality is very different. Genuine values depend entirely on rarity, condition, and the specific mint era present. Some extraordinary era coins have sold for thousands of dollars, while normal circulated examples remain worth only 1 cent. The 1983 Lincoln cent continued one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the cent in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth. That decision marked a historic moment, because Lincoln became the first real historical person ever portrayed on a regularly circulating United States coin. Prior to that time, American coins featured allegorical representations of liberty rather than portraits of presidents. The introduction of Lincoln's portrait forever changed American coinage and established a tradition that continues today. The obverse of the 1983 cent displays the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Brenner's initials, VDB, appear in small letters on the lower shoulder of Lincoln. These initials became famous among collectors because the original 1909 Lincoln cents prominently displayed them on the reverse. Public controversy over their size caused the mint to remove them later that same year before restoring them in much smaller form on Lincoln's shoulder decades later. By 1983, collectors had become accustomed to seeing the discrete initials beneath the portrait. Across the top of the obverse appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word "Liberty" is positioned to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the date 1983 appears to the right. If the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, a small D mint mark appears below the date. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 1983 carry no mint mark, following the long-standing tradition for Philadelphia cents. The reverse of the 1983 Lincoln cent features the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparro and first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse remained in use until 2008 before being replaced by the bicentennial reverse designs and eventually the Union Shield reverse beginning in 2010. A remarkable detail hidden within the reverse design often surprises new collectors. If examined under magnification, Abraham Lincoln himself can actually be seen seated inside the memorial between the central columns. This tiny figure makes the Lincoln Memorial cent one of the very few coins in the world to depict the same individual on both sides of a circulating coin. The specifications of the 1983 cent are important because they reflect one of the most significant changes in modern United States coinage. The coin weighs approximately 2.50 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter with a plain edge. Unlike older bronze Lincoln cents, the 1983 issue is composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. Specifically, it contains approximately 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper forming the outer layer. This composition change occurred because copper prices had risen dramatically during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Producing cents from nearly solid copper became increasingly expensive, and eventually the cost approached or exceeded the coin's face value. To reduce manufacturing costs, the United States Mint introduced copper-plated zinc cents during 1982. Because both bronze and zinc cents were produced during portions of that transitional year, 1982 became one of the most fascinating dates for Lincoln cent collectors. By 1983, however, virtually all regular production cents were struck using the new zinc composition. This makes the weight of the coin one of the quickest ways to determine whether something unusual has occurred. A normal 1983 cent should weigh about 2.50 grams. If a genuine 1983 cent weighs significantly closer to the old bronze standard of approximately 3.11 grams, it deserves immediate professional examination, because it may represent an extremely rare wrong planchette error. Wrong planchette errors occur when a coin intended for one composition is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another composition. During periods immediately following composition changes, such mistakes become especially desirable because leftover blanks from previous production sometimes remain in mint equipment. A genuine 1983 bronze cent would be extraordinarily rare and valuable because almost every cent produced during that year was intended to be struck on zinc planchets. Collectors use precise digital scales capable of measuring to 1/100th of a gram to verify coin weights. Even slight deviations can indicate an error or post-mint damage. Weight alone does not guarantee rarity, but it provides one of the first clues during examination. Another important characteristic of the 1983 cent involves its appearance over time. Because zinc is much softer than copper, these coins frequently develop bubbling, blistering, or corrosion when the thin copper plating becomes damaged. Moisture entering beneath the plating can cause unsightly swelling and deterioration. These defects are not considered valuable mint errors because they occur after the coin enters circulation. Instead, collectors generally seek coins with smooth, original surfaces free from corrosion. The United States Mint produced enormous quantities of 1983 cents. Hundreds of millions were struck at Philadelphia, while Denver also manufactured hundreds of millions for circulation. Such large mintages mean that ordinary examples remain extremely common today. Many survive in circulation, coin jars, and bank rolls throughout the country. Despite these huge production numbers, mint errors remain scarce because they represent only a tiny fraction of total output. Every coin begins as a blank metal disc known as a planchette. These planchets pass through upsetting mills that raise their rims before entering powerful coining presses. The dies strike each blank with tremendous force, transferring every detail of the design in a fraction of a second. Although the mint operates under strict quality control standards, no manufacturing system is perfect. Occasionally a die becomes damaged, shifts slightly, develops cracks, receives an improper hubbing, or encounters mechanical problems. These situations create collectible mint errors that differ dramatically from ordinary circulation damage. One of the most famous and valuable varieties associated with the 1983 Lincoln cent is the double die reverse. Unlike machine doubling, which results from movement during striking and generally adds little collector value, a true double die originates during the die manufacturing process itself. When the working die receives multiple impressions from the hub that are slightly misaligned, every coin struck from that die exhibits identical doubling. On the genuine 1983 double die reverse, collectors often observe dramatic doubling on inscriptions including 1 cent, E pluribus unum, and United States of America. The doubling is often strong enough to be seen without magnification once a collector knows exactly where to look. Because every coin struck from the double die carries the same characteristics, specialists compare suspect coins to known examples using detailed photographs. Authentication by professional grading services becomes especially important for valuable double die varieties, because many forms of damage or strike deterioration can resemble true doubling to inexperienced collectors. Condition also plays a tremendous role in determining value. Two identical error coins may differ in price by thousands of dollars depending on preservation. Coins graded mint state retain their original mint luster and show no evidence of circulation wear. As grades increase from MS-60 through MS-70, even tiny imperfections become increasingly significant. Professional grading services evaluate strike quality, luster, surface preservation, eye appeal, and the number of contact marks before assigning a numerical grade. Collectors often pay substantial premiums for coins certified by respected grading companies because authentication provides confidence in both the coin's authenticity and condition. Finding a high-grade 1983 cent can actually prove more difficult than many people expect. While countless examples circulated heavily for decades, relatively few were carefully preserved immediately after leaving the mint. Zinc cents also tend to develop spots, discoloration, and plating problems that reduce their desirability even when they have never entered circulation. Many collectors search original bank-wrapped rolls, hoping to discover pristine examples displaying brilliant red color. Copper-plated zinc cents originally possess a bright reddish appearance. Over time, exposure to air gradually darkens the surfaces, reducing the percentage of original mint color. Coins retaining full original red coloration generally command stronger premiums than those exhibiting brown or mixed red-brown surfaces. The hunt for valuable 1983 cents continues today because new discoveries occasionally emerge from old collections, inherited coin jars, estate accumulations, and even circulation. Every collector dreams of finding an overlooked double die, a dramatic off-center strike, or another unusual mint error that escaped notice for decades. While such discoveries remain uncommon, they illustrate why careful examination of even ordinary-looking coins remains one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. The 1983 Lincoln cent demonstrates that rarity often depends not on the date alone, but on the story behind each individual coin. Millions were produced exactly as intended, yet a tiny number left the mint with characteristics that transformed them into highly sought-after collectibles. Understanding the coin's specifications, history, manufacturing process, and known error varieties provides the foundation for recognizing these unusual pieces whenever they appear. As collectors gain more experience examining Lincoln cents, they quickly realize that not every unusual-looking coin is a genuine mint error. The distinction between a true mint error and damage that occurred after the coin entered circulation is one of the most important lessons in numismatics. A coin that has been scratched, bent, polished, exposed to chemicals, or damaged by machines may appear unusual, but such alterations almost always reduce its collectible value rather than increase it. Genuine mint errors, on the other hand, originate during the manufacturing process inside the United States Mint. Because these mistakes occur before the coin enters circulation, they become part of the coin's permanent identity and can significantly increase collector demand. The journey of every 1983 Lincoln cent begins long before it reaches a coining press. Large coils of metal are supplied to the mint, where blanking presses punch out thousands of round discs known as planchets. These planchets are then washed, cleaned, dried, and fed through an upsetting mill that raises a slight rim around the edge. This rim helps the metal flow properly during striking and protects the design from excessive wear once the coin enters circulation. After the upsetting process, planchets move through automated feeding systems into high-speed coining presses capable of striking hundreds of coins every minute. Each strike occurs with tremendous pressure, forcing the soft metal into every recessed detail engraved into the dies. The upper die, known as the hammer die, descends with enormous force while the lower die remains stationary. A retaining collar surrounds the planchette during striking, ensuring that the finished coin has its proper diameter and a well-defined edge. Although the mint's equipment is engineered for remarkable precision, mechanical failures occasionally occur. Dies gradually wear with repeated use, microscopic cracks begin forming, lubrication systems may malfunction, planchets sometimes fail to feed correctly, and tiny foreign objects occasionally interfere with striking. These situations create many of the fascinating errors that collectors actively seek today. One of the most dramatic errors associated with Lincoln cents is the off-center strike. In this situation, the planchette is not properly positioned beneath the dies when struck. Instead of receiving the design in its intended location, part of the image is missing while an unstruck crescent-shaped blank area remains visible. The value of an off-center strike depends on several factors, including the percentage of the design that is missing, whether the date remains visible, and the overall eye appeal of the coin. Collectors generally prefer off-center strikes that retain the complete date, because the year can still be identified while the dramatic error remains obvious. A minor off-center strike involving only a few percent of the design may command a modest premium, whereas a major off-center strike with an easily identifiable date can become considerably more valuable. Extremely dramatic examples attract strong collector interest because each one is unique. Another fascinating production mistake is the broad strike error. Unlike an off-center strike, a broad-struck coin is correctly centered, but is struck without the retaining collar surrounding the planchette. Without this collar restricting the metal, the coin expands outward during striking, becoming noticeably larger in diameter while appearing thinner than normal. The edge lacks its usual raised appearance because nothing can find the metal during the striking process. Broad-struck 1983 Lincoln cents can be especially attractive because the expanded design remains fully visible, while the unusual shape immediately distinguishes the coin from ordinary examples. Collectors appreciate these errors because they clearly demonstrate the important role played by the retaining collar during normal coin production. Sometimes a planchette fails to eject properly after being struck and remains inside the coining chamber for another strike. If a second blank enters the press before the first coin is removed, multiple strikes can occur. Multiple struck coins display overlapping images, rotated designs, or distorted lettering that create spectacular visual effects. Depending upon the exact sequence of strikes, no two examples appear exactly alike. Rotated die errors represent another collectible variety occasionally encountered by specialists. Under normal circumstances, the obverse and reverse dies maintain a fixed alignment. When one die rotates unexpectedly, the designs no longer line up correctly. A collector can test for this by holding the coin upright, turning it from top to bottom, and observing the reverse. If the reverse appears significantly rotated instead of upright, a rotated die error may be present. Die cracks are among the most frequently encountered mint-made imperfections. As dies endure millions of powerful strikes, stress gradually causes microscopic fractures to develop. Molten-like lines appearing on the finished coins actually represent metal flowing into these cracks during striking. Early die cracks may be extremely thin, while advanced cracks become thick, raised ridges extending across large portions of the design. As cracking continues to worsen, entire sections of the die may eventually break away. When this happens, the missing portion leaves a raised, blob-like area on every coin subsequently struck by that damaged die. Collectors refer to these features as cuds. Large cud errors are especially popular because they dramatically alter the appearance of the coin while clearly demonstrating severe die failure. Die clashes occur when the coining press cycles without a planchette between the dies. Instead of striking a coin, the hardened steel dies collide directly with one another. Portions of each design transfer faintly onto the opposite die, producing ghost-like images on later coins. Skilled collectors often identify clash marks by locating unexpected outlines of letters, or design elements appearing where they should not exist. The 1983 Lincoln cent is also known among specialists for one of the most famous double die reverse varieties in modern Lincoln cent collecting. Unlike ordinary machine doubling, which results from vibration or slight movement during striking, a genuine double die is created during the manufacture of the die itself. Because the error exists on the die, every coin produced from that die carries exactly the same doubling. On authentic examples, strong doubling is visible on the inscriptions surrounding the Lincoln Memorial. The words 1 cent, e pluribus unum, and United States of America often display clear separation between the primary letters and the secondary images. Under magnification, these letters appear distinctly doubled rather than simply thickened or flattened. Collectors searching for double die varieties frequently use quality magnifying loupes ranging from 5 power to 10 power magnification. good lighting is equally important because shadows help reveal the separation between double design elements. Many experienced collectors prefer adjustable LED lamps positioned at low angles to highlight subtle details invisible under ordinary room lighting. Digital microscopes have become increasingly popular among modern collectors because they allow enlarged images to be viewed on computer screens. High-resolution photographs can then be compared directly with reference images published by recognized error specialists. This technology has made variety attribution considerably easier than it was decades ago. Authentication remains extremely important whenever a potentially valuable error coin is discovered. Numerous forms of damage can imitate genuine mint errors, and inexperienced collectors occasionally mistake deterioration for rare varieties. Professional grading services carefully examine every submitted coin using magnification, specialized equipment, and expert knowledge accumulated through decades of experience. Their certification provides confidence for both buyers and sellers. The condition of a 1983 error cent often determines whether it commands hundreds or thousands of dollars. A heavily worn double die may still possess collector value because the variety itself remains rare, but an unworn mint state example displaying bright original surfaces generally commands a significantly stronger premium. Eye appeal also influences market demand. Coins with attractive color, minimal spotting, and sharp strikes usually sell more quickly than examples showing unattractive discoloration or excessive contact marks. Color classifications play an important role for copper-plated Lincoln cents. Grading services generally categorize these coins as brown, red-brown, or red. Brown coins have lost nearly all of their original mint color through oxidation. Red-brown coins retain a mixture of original red surfaces and darker toning. Full red examples preserve nearly all of the brilliant copper color present when the coins left the mint. Because pristine red surfaces become increasingly difficult to preserve over time, fully red mint state examples often command the highest prices among collectors. Storage methods significantly influence whether coins retain their original appearance. Collectors generally avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers because natural skin oils can leave permanent fingerprints. Instead, coins are carefully handled by their edges. Archival quality holders made from inert materials help protect coins from moisture, dust, and airborne contaminants that accelerate toning or corrosion. Humidity represents one of the greatest threats to copper-plated zinc cents. Once the thin copper coating becomes compromised, moisture can reach the zinc core beneath. Zinc reacts readily with environmental contaminants, producing white corrosion products, and causing the copper plating to blister or bubble. These defects greatly reduce both eye appeal and collector value. Proper storage in cool, dry conditions therefore becomes essential for long-term preservation. Many beginning collectors wonder whether cleaning an old coin might increase its value. In nearly every case, the opposite is true. Cleaning removes original surfaces, produces unnatural hairline scratches, and permanently alters the coin's appearance. Professional graders easily recognize cleaned coins, and collectors generally avoid purchasing them unless the underlying rarity is exceptional. Leaving a coin in its original condition is almost always the wisest decision. Searching for valuable 1983 cents can become an exciting hobby requiring surprisingly little initial investment. Many collectors begin by examining bank rolls, inherited collections, estate accumulations, or jars of accumulated pocket change. Although finding a major error remains unlikely, every roll offers the possibility of discovering an overlooked variety. The excitement comes not only from potential value, but also from learning to recognize the subtle characteristics that distinguish ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. Some experienced roll searchers examine thousands of Lincoln cents every month. Most discoveries consist of attractive uncirculated examples, interesting die cracks, or minor varieties, but occasionally a significant error emerges unexpectedly. Such discoveries continue to demonstrate that valuable coins are sometimes hidden in plain sight among ordinary circulating cents. Knowledge gradually becomes a collector's greatest advantage. Understanding the normal specifications of the 1983 Lincoln cent allows unusual features to stand out immediately. A coin weighing significantly more than expected, displaying dramatic doubled lettering, showing a genuine off-center strike, or exhibiting a spectacular cud deserves closer examination. Every authentic mint era tells part of the story of how the United States Mint manufactures billions of coins with remarkable efficiency while occasionally producing fascinating mistakes that become treasured collectibles for generations. Even after learning about the most popular mint eras associated with the 1983 Lincoln cent, collectors soon discover that the true excitement of the hobby comes from understanding how rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance combine to determine value. Two coins that appear almost identical to an inexperienced observer can differ dramatically in market price. One may be worth only a single cent, while another displaying a verified mint era and outstanding preservation could command hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The difference lies in careful examination, accurate identification, and professional authentication. One of the most important concepts in numismatics is rarity. Rarity does not simply mean that a coin is old. Millions of coins from the 19th century still survive today, while certain modern-era coins may exist in only a handful of examples. The 1983 Lincoln cent illustrates this principle perfectly. Hundreds of millions of normal circulation strikes were produced, making ordinary examples extremely common. However, genuine double dies, wrong planchette strikes, dramatic off-center errors, and other significant mint mistakes represent only a tiny fraction of total production. Because collectors compete for these scarce pieces, prices can increase substantially. Demand plays an equally important role. A rare coin with little collector interest may remain inexpensive, while a well-known variety sought by thousands of enthusiasts can achieve impressive auction results. The famous 1983 double die reverse has become widely recognized among Lincoln cent specialists because of its dramatic appearance and historical importance. Collectors assembling complete Lincoln cent variety sets actively search for this coin, helping sustain long-term demand. Auction records often provide the clearest picture of how the marketplace values different examples. Prices fluctuate depending on condition, certification, appeal, and the number of interested bidders participating in a particular sale. Exceptional mint state examples displaying vibrant original red color often bring considerably higher prices than circulated examples of the same variety. While ordinary circulated 1983 cents generally remain worth only face value, authenticated era coins may sell for hundreds, or even several $1,000s depending on the specific era and grade. It is important to approach sensational claims about coin values with caution. Stories frequently circulate on social media suggesting that every unusual penny is worth millions of dollars. Such claims rarely reflect reality. Professional collectors rely on documented auction records, certified examples, and established price guides rather than internet rumors. Although some United States coins have achieved extraordinary prices because of extreme rarity and historical significance, no ordinary 1983 Lincoln cent is worth anywhere near the exaggerated figures sometimes mentioned online. Real value comes from documented rarity, not viral headlines. Professional grading has become an essential part of today's coin market. Independent grading services examine coins for authenticity, assign standardized numerical grades, identify recognized varieties, and encapsulate the coins in tamper-evident holders. These holders protect the coin while providing confidence to buyers and sellers. Certification also reduces disputes over authenticity because collectors can rely upon experienced specialists rather than personal opinion. The grading scale ranges from poor 1 to mint state 70. A heavily worn coin with barely visible details receives a low grade, while a flawless coin showing no post-production imperfections may receive the highest grade. Perfect mint state 70 Lincoln cents are exceptionally rare, because even tiny contact marks received during packaging and transportation can lower the assigned grade. Strike quality represents another characteristic examined during grading. Some coins display exceptionally sharp details because fresh dies transferred every design element with remarkable clarity. Others exhibit weaker strikes resulting from worn dies or slight variations in striking pressure. Strong strikes usually receive greater collector appreciation because they better display the artist's original design. Luster is equally significant. Freshly struck coins possess a distinctive cartwheel effect created by microscopic flow lines formed during striking. As light moves across the surface, this luster appears to rotate around the coin. Cleaning, wear, corrosion, or environmental damage can destroy this effect permanently. Collectors prize coins retaining vibrant original mint luster because it reflects careful preservation. Color also contributes significantly to desirability. Fresh copper-plated zinc cents leave the mint with brilliant reddish surfaces. Exposure to oxygen gradually changes the appearance, producing darker shades over time. Grading services classify Lincoln cents as red, red-brown, or brown depending upon the percentage of original color remaining. Full red examples generally command the strongest premiums, particularly in higher mint state grades. Collectors frequently debate whether they should search circulation or purchase certified examples directly. Both approaches offer unique advantages. Searching pocket change, bank rolls, and inherited collections provides the excitement of discovery at minimal cost. Every examined coin offers the possibility, however remote, of uncovering an overlooked variety. Purchasing certified coins, by contrast, provides immediate ownership of authenticated examples without uncertainty regarding attribution or condition. Roll searching has become increasingly popular among hobbyists. Collectors obtain bank-wrapped rolls of cents and examine every coin individually under magnification. Although the overwhelming majority prove ordinary, occasional discoveries include double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, repunched design elements, attractive uncirculated coins, or older wheat cents overlooked during circulation. The process requires patience, organization, and careful attention to detail. Good lighting significantly improves examination accuracy. Many specialists recommend adjustable LED lamps positioned at shallow angles to emphasize raised features and reveal subtle doubling. Magnification between 5 and 10 power generally proves sufficient for most varieties, although digital microscopes provide even greater detail when needed. Reference materials remain invaluable for serious collectors. Variety attribution guides illustrate known double dies, die cracks, and other recognized errors using detailed photographs. Comparing a suspected variety against published references helps prevent costly mistakes. Many collectors maintain notebooks documenting discoveries, purchase dates, weights, measurements, and certification numbers for future reference. Weighing suspicious coins is another valuable practice. Because the 1983 cent should weigh approximately 2.50 grams, significant deviations may indicate an unusual planchette, although damage or contamination can also affect weight. Precision digital scales capable of measuring to 1/100th of a gram have become affordable tools for collectors seeking additional evidence before pursuing professional authentication. Some of the most exciting discoveries occur unexpectedly. A collector may inherit a jar of mixed coins from a relative, purchase an old collection at an estate sale, or receive unusual change from a local store. Many important numismatic finds began with someone simply deciding to examine an ordinary-looking coin more carefully. While major discoveries remain uncommon, these stories inspire new generations of collectors to pay closer attention to everyday pocket change. Counterfeit coins present another challenge within the hobby. As valuable varieties become widely known, dishonest individuals sometimes attempt to alter common coins in order to imitate rare errors. Added mint marks, engraved doubling, artificial toning, and altered dates occasionally appear in the marketplace. Fortunately, experienced collectors and professional grading services usually identify these alterations quickly. Purchasing certified examples from reputable dealers greatly reduces the risk of acquiring counterfeit material. Technology continues transforming modern numismatics. High-resolution digital photography allows collectors around the world to share discoveries instantly. Online databases catalog known die varieties with remarkable precision. Educational videos demonstrate examination techniques, while virtual auctions enable collectors from different countries to compete for important coins. Despite these technological advances, the fundamental excitement remains unchanged, carefully studying a small piece of history in search of something extraordinary. The 1983 Lincoln cent also serves as an educational example of economic history. The shift from bronze to copper-plated zinc reflected rising metal prices and the government's effort to reduce production costs. Similar changes have occurred throughout history whenever the intrinsic value of a coin approached or exceeded its face value. Understanding these economic factors provides additional appreciation for why certain transitional eras become especially desirable. Many advanced collectors eventually specialize rather than attempting to collect every United States coin. Some focus exclusively on Lincoln cents, while others concentrate on double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or specific date ranges. Specialization allows deeper knowledge and often leads to the discovery of previously unrecognized varieties. Building a meaningful collection requires patience rather than haste. Experienced numismatists often spend years searching for high-quality examples that meet their personal standards. Instead of purchasing the first available coin, they wait for superior eye appeal, stronger color, or better preservation. This disciplined approach frequently results in collections of greater long-term quality. Insurance and documentation become increasingly important as collections grow. Maintaining detailed records including purchase receipts, certification numbers, photographs, and estimated values simplifies estate planning and helps protect investments. Proper storage using archival quality holders, low humidity, and stable temperatures preserves coins for future generations. The educational value of coin collecting extends well beyond monetary considerations. Studying the 1983 Lincoln cent introduces collectors to metallurgy, engineering, economics, American history, manufacturing technology, art, and finance. Every coin reflects decisions made by designers, engravers, government officials, and mint employees. Understanding these interconnected stories transforms an ordinary 1-cent coin into a tangible historical document. Perhaps the greatest lesson offered by the 1983 Lincoln cent is that careful observation often reveals details invisible at first glance. Most people see only a common penny. A knowledgeable collector notices composition, weight, strike quality, color, die state, mint mark, and potential varieties. This ability develops gradually through experience, study, and repeated examination rather than luck alone. As years continue to pass, surviving high-grade examples become increasingly desirable because many ordinary coins are lost, damaged, or heavily worn. Although millions were originally produced, relatively few remain in pristine condition with full original red surfaces and flawless preservation. For that reason, exceptional examples certified in high mint state grades continue attracting strong interest among collectors seeking the finest known specimens. Ultimately, the fascination surrounding the 1983 Lincoln cent lies not in unrealistic claims of unimaginable wealth, but in the genuine possibility that an ordinary-looking coin might preserve an authentic piece of mint history. Every verified double die, every dramatic off-center strike, every broad strike, every cud, and every rare wrong planchet error reminds collectors that even in one of the world's most advanced minting operations, occasional imperfections escaped into circulation. Those imperfections transformed otherwise common coins into lasting treasures that continue educating, inspiring, and rewarding collectors decades after they were first struck. The story of the 1983 Lincoln cent continues long after it leaves the presses of the United States Mint. Every coin enters circulation with the same intended purpose: to facilitate commerce. It passes from one person to another, moves through cash registers, vending machines, banks, and businesses, and often remains in circulation for decades. During that journey, countless examples become scratched, worn, stained, or damaged, while a small number are carefully saved by collectors who recognize their historical importance or unusual characteristics. Time gradually separates ordinary survivors from exceptional specimens, making the finest preserved examples increasingly desirable. Many collectors begin their interest in coins during childhood after noticing something unusual in their pocket change. A different date, an unfamiliar design, or an odd-looking mint error can spark curiosity that lasts a lifetime. The 1983 Lincoln cent has inspired many such discoveries because it belongs to a period when the United States Mint had recently transitioned from bronze to copper-plated zinc planchets. This change introduced new collecting opportunities and encouraged hobbyists to examine every cent more carefully than before. As knowledge of Lincoln cent varieties spread through books, magazines, coin clubs, and later the Internet, increasing numbers of collectors began searching specifically for the famous 1983 double die reverse. Unlike ordinary coins, this variety displays obvious doubling on the reverse lettering that resulted from the die manufacturing process rather than damage after striking. Because every authentic example originated from the same defective die, collectors can compare suspected coins with published reference photographs to verify authenticity. Many discoveries have occurred years after the coins first entered circulation. A family may inherit an old jar filled with pennies collected decades earlier. Someone cleaning an attic may find forgotten coin albums assembled by grandparents. Estate sales occasionally reveal original bank rolls stored untouched since the early 1980s. These situations remind collectors that important discoveries are still possible because not every valuable coin has already been identified. The excitement of searching comes from uncertainty. A collector may examine hundreds or even thousands of ordinary coins before finding a single noteworthy variety. Yet every new roll opened brings another opportunity. Patience becomes one of the greatest virtues in numismatics. Experienced collectors understand that success depends more upon persistence and knowledge than luck alone. Many advanced hobbyists keep detailed records of every significant discovery. They document the date, mint mark, weight, diameter, color designation, die characteristics, photographs, and purchase information. Such records become invaluable for insurance purposes, future sales, and historical documentation. Well-documented collections also provide important information for researchers studying die varieties and mint production methods. Coin clubs continue to play an important role in educating collectors. Members exchange knowledge, display recent acquisitions, discuss authentication techniques, and share experiences regarding new discoveries. Beginners often learn proper examination methods from experienced collectors who have spent decades studying Lincoln cents. This transfer of knowledge helps preserve the hobby for future generations. Coin shows provide another opportunity for collectors to examine certified examples in person. Seeing genuine double dies, broad strikes, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet errors allows collectors to recognize authentic characteristics much more easily than studying photographs alone. Dealers frequently encourage educational discussion because informed collectors contribute to a healthier marketplace. The Internet has dramatically expanded access to numismatic information. Auction archives allow collectors to study previous sales of authenticated 1983-era cents. Educational articles explain minting technology in detail. Online forums encourage discussion of newly discovered varieties, while high-resolution images enable comparisons between suspected errors and verified examples. Despite these technological advances, careful personal examination remains essential because photographs alone cannot always reveal every important characteristic. Another valuable lesson learned through collecting the 1983 Lincoln cent involves understanding market cycles. Coin values fluctuate according to collector demand, economic conditions, availability of certified examples, and overall interest in the hobby. Some varieties experience increased attention after major auction sales or media coverage, while others remain relatively stable for years. Serious collectors therefore focus not only on potential financial appreciation, but also on historical significance, rarity, and personal enjoyment. Proper storage becomes increasingly important as collections grow. Coins should be protected from moisture, excessive heat, rapid temperature changes, airborne contaminants, and direct handling. Archival quality holders, inert plastic capsules, acid-free cardboard holders, and professionally encapsulated slabs help preserve original surfaces. Because copper-plated zinc cents are especially vulnerable to corrosion if the plating becomes damaged, maintaining a dry storage environment greatly improves long-term preservation. Many collectors also invest in silica gel packs or humidity control systems for safes and storage cabinets. Regular inspection helps identify any environmental problems before significant damage occurs. Once corrosion begins, it cannot be reversed without permanently affecting the coin, making prevention far more effective than attempted restoration. Photography has become an essential skill for modern collectors. High-quality images document condition, assist with insurance records, and facilitate comparisons with reference varieties. Proper lighting is especially important because shadows reveal raised features such as die cracks, cuds, and doubled lettering. Many collectors experiment with different lighting angles to capture the clearest possible images. The educational benefits of studying the 1983 Lincoln cent extend far beyond collecting itself. Research into this coin introduces students to metallurgy, industrial manufacturing, economics, American history, engineering, and artistic design. Understanding why the mint changed from bronze to copper-plated zinc requires examining global metal markets and production costs. Studying double dies involves learning about die manufacturing technology. Examining grading standards teaches careful observation and attention to detail. Every aspect of the coin contributes to a broader understanding of history and science. The Lincoln cent series also provides a remarkable historical timeline. Beginning in 1909 with Victor David Brenner's portrait, continuing through the Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1959, celebrating the bicentennial designs of 2009, and transitioning to the Union Shield reverse in 2010, the series reflects changing artistic styles and national commemorations. The 1983 issue occupies an important position within this timeline because it represents the early years of the copper-plated zinc era that continues today. Collectors often describe coin collecting as a combination of treasure hunting, historical research, and scientific investigation. The 1983 Lincoln cent perfectly illustrates this combination. Treasure hunting encourages searching through rolls and collections for overlooked varieties. Historical research explains why the composition changed and how the coin fits into American monetary history. Scientific investigation involves weighing coins, examining microscopic details, identifying die characteristics, and understanding manufacturing processes. One misconception frequently encountered involves the belief that every old coin is valuable. Age alone rarely determines price. A heavily worn common date coin produced in enormous quantities may remain worth only face value despite being decades old. Conversely, a much newer coin with a significant mint error or exceptionally low survival rate may command a substantial premium. Knowledge therefore becomes far more valuable than age when evaluating coins. Similarly, unusual appearance alone does not guarantee rarity. Damage caused by parking lots, lawn mowers, dryers, chemicals, jewelry experiments, or deliberate alterations often creates strange-looking coins. These damaged pieces sometimes resemble genuine mint errors to inexperienced observers. Learning the difference between mint-made characteristics and post-mint damage represents one of the most important skills any collector can develop. Professional authentication offers peace of mind whenever an important discovery appears likely. Independent grading services employ specialists who examine suspect coins under magnification, compare them with known varieties, verify authenticity, assign grades, and encapsulate genuine examples. This process protects both collectors and future buyers while preserving important numismatic material. Although stories occasionally circulate claiming unbelievable values for ordinary pennies, realistic expectations are essential. A normal circulated 1983 Lincoln cent generally remains worth 1 cent. Nice uncirculated examples may carry modest collector premiums. Verified mint errors, especially the famous double die reverse, major off-center strikes, broad strikes, and rare wrong planchette errors, can be worth significantly more depending on rarity, condition, and market demand. However, extraordinary multimillion-dollar claims should always be viewed skeptically unless supported by documented auction records and professional authentication. The true reward of collecting the 1983 Lincoln cent extends beyond financial value. Every authenticated variety tells a fascinating story about how coins are manufactured, how small imperfections occasionally escape quality control, and how observant collectors preserve these unusual pieces of history. Holding such a coin creates a direct connection to the workers, machinery, artists, and historical circumstances that produced it more than 4 decades ago. For many collectors, the greatest satisfaction comes not from selling a valuable coin, but from the moment of discovery itself. Finding an authentic double die in a roll of ordinary cents, recognizing a genuine die crack overlooked by others, or identifying an unusual striking error through careful study provides a sense of accomplishment that cannot be measured solely in dollars. Those moments reward patience, education, and curiosity. The 1983 Lincoln cent continues to remind collectors that remarkable discoveries sometimes hide among the most ordinary objects. A coin that most people would spend without a second thought may, upon closer examination, reveal evidence of a rare manufacturing error, exceptional preservation, or an important variety recognized by specialists around the world. That possibility keeps collectors searching through pocket change, bank rolls, estate collections, and inherited jars year after year. As future generations inherit collections assembled today, the stories surrounding these coins will continue to grow. Each certified error, each carefully preserved mint state example, and each documented variety contributes to the ongoing history of American numismatics. The 1983 Lincoln cent therefore represents much more than a single year of production. It represents craftsmanship, technological change, historical continuity, and the enduring excitement of discovery that has attracted collectors for generations. Whether examined by a beginner using a simple magnifying glass, or by an advanced specialist equipped with professional instruments, the coin continues to reward careful observation with new appreciation for the remarkable details hidden within one of America's smallest and most familiar pieces of currency. Through study, patience, and respect for factual numismatic evidence, collectors ensure that the legacy of the 1983 Lincoln cent and its genuine mint errors will remain an important chapter in the history of United States coinage for many years to come. As the study of the 1983 Lincoln cent reaches its conclusion, it becomes clear that this seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin represents far more than a small piece of everyday currency. It is a product of American history, engineering, economics, artistry, and precision manufacturing. Every detail found on the coin, from Abraham Lincoln's portrait to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, from its copper-plated zinc composition to its carefully engraved lettering, reflects decades of planning, craftsmanship, and technological advancement at the United States Mint. When the Mint adopted the copper-plated zinc composition during the early 1980s, the decision was driven primarily by economics. Copper prices had increased dramatically, making the traditional bronze cent increasingly expensive to manufacture. The transition allowed the mint to continue producing billions of pennies while reducing production costs. Although this change was intended simply as an economic solution, it unexpectedly created one of the most interesting periods in modern Lincoln cent collecting. Transitional errors, wrong planchette strikes, and new varieties associated with the composition change became highly desirable among collectors, demonstrating how even routine production changes can produce lasting numismatic significance. The 1983 Lincoln cent also illustrates the remarkable efficiency of modern coin production. High-speed presses strike hundreds of coins every minute with extraordinary consistency. Considering the enormous number of coins produced each year, the percentage containing significant mint errors is incredibly small. This rarity is precisely what makes authentic error coins so fascinating. Every genuine off-center strike, broad strike, double die, die crack, cud, die clash, or wrong planchette error represents an unusual moment during the manufacturing process when something unexpected occurred before quality control systems could remove the coin from production. Collectors often describe error coins as frozen moments in mint history. Unlike ordinary coins, which accurately represent the intended design, an error coin preserves evidence of a specific mechanical event or production anomaly. A double die records a misalignment during die creation. An off-center strike captures an improperly positioned planchette. A broad strike demonstrates the absence of the retaining collar. A die crack records the gradual fatigue of hardened steel after countless strikes. Every error tells its own unique story. One reason the Lincoln cent series remains so popular is its accessibility. Unlike rare gold coins or historic silver dollars that may require substantial financial investment, Lincoln cents can still be found in circulation, bank rolls, estate collections, and inherited jars. This accessibility allows beginners to participate in genuine numismatic research without significant expense. Every handful of pennies becomes an opportunity to practice identification skills, recognize varieties, and develop a deeper understanding of United States coinage. The excitement of searching often exceeds the value of the discoveries themselves. Experienced collectors understand that examining thousands of coins is part of the hobby. Most coins will be ordinary examples worth only face value, but every examination improves knowledge and observational ability. Over time, collectors become increasingly skilled at recognizing subtle differences in strike quality, die characteristics, surface preservation, color, and authenticity. Education remains the most valuable tool available to any collector. Knowledge allows an individual to distinguish between machine doubling and a genuine double die, between post-mint damage and an authentic striking error, between corrosion and natural toning, and between altered coins and legitimate mint products. This understanding protects collectors from costly mistakes while increasing the likelihood of recognizing valuable discoveries when they appear. Many successful collectors devote considerable time to studying reference books, auction archives, grading standards, and authenticated examples. They compare suspected varieties with published photographs, measure coin weights using precision digital scales, examine surfaces under proper lighting, and seek expert opinions whenever necessary. Their success comes not from luck alone, but from careful preparation and continuous learning. The importance of authentication cannot be overstated. Professional grading services provide independent verification of authenticity, identify recognized varieties, assign standardized numerical grades, and encapsulate coins for long-term protection. Certification gives buyers confidence, helps establish fair market value, and preserves important numismatic material for future generations. When a potentially valuable 1983 era cent is discovered, professional authentication is usually the most prudent next step. Collectors should also remember that preservation begins immediately after discovery. Coins should always be handled by their edges to avoid fingerprints. Cleaning should be avoided because even gentle polishing permanently alters original surfaces and usually reduces value. Proper storage in archival quality holders, away from excessive humidity and environmental contaminants, helps maintain both appearance and market desirability. The marketplace for Lincoln cents continues to evolve as new collectors enter the hobby and additional varieties are studied. Auction prices fluctuate according to rarity, condition, collector demand, and the availability of comparable examples. While exceptional certified error coins may command impressive premiums, ordinary circulated 1983 cents remain common. Understanding this distinction prevents unrealistic expectations and encourages informed collecting based on documented evidence rather than exaggerated online claims. Over the years, numerous sensational stories have appeared suggesting that common pennies are worth millions of dollars. These stories often spread rapidly through social media and video sharing platforms because extraordinary claims attract attention. Responsible numismatics, however, depends upon verifiable information. Actual coin values are determined through authenticated auction sales, professional grading, recognized rarity, and established collector demand. Extraordinary value requires extraordinary evidence. The historical importance of the Lincoln cent extends beyond individual varieties. Since its introduction in 1909, the series has documented more than a century of American history. It has witnessed 2 world wars, economic booms and recessions, technological revolutions, changing artistic styles, and significant developments in minting technology. The 1983 issue represents one chapter within that larger story. A chapter marked by changing metal compositions, evolving manufacturing methods, and increased collector interest in modern varieties. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln itself remains one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Victor David Brenner's design has endured for generations because it successfully captures both dignity and simplicity. Millions of Americans have carried Lincoln's likeness every day without giving much thought to the artistic achievement represented by such a small object. For collectors, however, every detail of the portrait becomes meaningful, from the placement of inscriptions to the subtle contours of Lincoln's profile. Equally remarkable is Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which remained in use for half a century. The tiny seated figure of Lincoln visible within the memorial continues to surprise new collectors, who discover it under magnification for the first time. This hidden detail serves as a reminder that careful observation often reveals fascinating features overlooked by casual viewers. As technology advances, future generations of collectors will likely employ increasingly sophisticated imaging systems, digital databases, and analytical tools to study coins. Yet the essential appeal of the hobby will remain unchanged. Holding a genuine piece of history, examining its details under magnification, and understanding the story behind its creation provide a unique connection to the past that cannot be replicated digitally. The 1983 Lincoln cent demonstrates that significance is not determined by size or denomination. Although worth only 1 cent in everyday commerce, certain authenticated examples possess historical, educational, and collectible importance far exceeding their face value. These coins remind us that even the smallest objects can preserve remarkable stories spanning economics, manufacturing, politics, art, and national heritage. For beginners entering the hobby, the best advice remains simple: learn first, collect patiently, and rely on facts rather than rumors. Study genuine examples, consult reliable references, compare suspected varieties carefully, and seek professional opinions when appropriate. Every coin examined contributes to growing experience, whether or not it proves valuable. For experienced collectors, the 1983 Lincoln cent continues to offer opportunities for research, discovery, and appreciation. Previously unrecognized die states may still emerge from old collections. High-grade examples may continue to set new records as populations become better understood. Educational outreach will inspire future generations to appreciate both the artistic beauty and historical significance of American coinage. Ultimately, the lasting appeal of the 1983 Lincoln cent lies in its ability to transform an ordinary object into a fascinating subject of study. It encourages curiosity, rewards careful observation, and demonstrates how history can survive in the palm of one's hand. Whether discovered in circulation, inherited from family members, purchased at a coin show, or preserved within a carefully assembled collection, every authentic example contributes to the continuing story of United States numismatics. The true treasure is not the unrealistic promise of impossible fortunes, but the knowledge gained through careful research, the excitement of genuine discovery, and the satisfaction of preserving a small, but meaningful piece of American history. For collectors around the world, the 1983 Lincoln cent remains a compelling reminder that remarkable stories often begin with the smallest coins, the sharpest eyes, and the willingness to look just a little closer.